Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going over the newest official reveals of the upcoming units of 3.0. So let's go over everything we know so far and see what we can prepare before they release. So let's go with the Luuk Herson first. So for Luuk we have Attribute Spectral, which is very interesting because we already got Spectral in the current patch. Weapon is Gauntlet. That's very interesting. So let's go over the Sonata set that we can actually use. This is actually the main reason why I think this guy might be DPS, and honestly, let's go over it. So the set we have in the game, we got three sets in 3.0. The first one is Pact of Neon Light, second one is Halo of Starry Radiance, third one is Rite of Gilded Revelation. So the first one is basically for Lene, the current on-banner character. Second one is for Morny in phase 2 of the current patch, and the third one is basically DPS Spectral set for basic attack damage dealer. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't really work the way everyone thought it worked. Basically how it works is dealing basic attack damage increases spectral damage by 10% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. With 3 stacks, casting Resonance Liberation grants 40% basic attack damage bonus. Everyone thought that this will last for X amount of time, but unfortunately there's no duration mentioned here. So how this actually works is that same time when you cast Liberation, you get 40% basic attack damage bonus on that Liberation casting only. So that Liberation, if it does basic attack damage, you'll benefit by 40% of bonus, right? 40% more damage. And because the newest character Lene, being a Spectral, doesn't do basic attack damage on her Liberation, it's still Liberation damage, she cannot use that set. She cannot use this set to full extent. She's basically losing DPS from this set instead of using the Celestial Light, the older Spectral set, and her main DPS is not really that good. So this set right now is collecting dust. If you build this set, you, my friend, need to wait. And potentially, in my opinion, you need to wait for Luuk Herson. And here's why. The reason why I think Luuk Herson can use this set, because basic attack damage is needed to activate 3 stacks. And with 3 stacks, you're activating 4th instance of damage, which is Resonance Liberation. And then you get extra 40% with all these stacks. That's 70% basic attack damage bonus to your Spectral DPS basic attack damage dealer. So Herson can benefit a lot from this. 70 from this, 10% from this, that's 80%. And there's another thing in game right now that we have on a standard banner, which is Gauntlet. Newest Gauntlet. So this Gauntlet right here, Pulsation Bracer, high base attack, critical rate 24%, increased attack by 12%, dealing damage to the targets under Tune Strain Interfered, grants 6% basic attack damage bonus for 3 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. This is very important. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. That's completely fine. Re-triggering this effect resets its duration. Now, here's my honest theory that might be, I'm 99% sure this is true, and honestly, this just screams synergy. Here's why. You see how this Gauntlet buff is specifically designed? You need Tune Strain Interfered, right? The only way to get to this stage of tune break mechanic is to activate Shifting, which is only from Lene. My theory is that Luuk Herson, if not in his base kit, maybe his S1 or S2 will let him inflict Shifting, and that's how he will independently actually trigger this effect. He's a Gauntlet. This is a Gauntlet. He's a Spectral, and this is a Spectral DPS set. And if that wasn't enough for you, let me actually give you more details why this is so broken. So the synergy is as follows. You need stack this up to 4 times. Deal damage 4 times. So 4 instances of damage, right? The first instance of damage, first 3 instances of damage will give you 30% Spectral, right? Damage bonus. With those 3 stacks, cast Liberation to get extra 40% basic attack damage bonus during this cast to have the most amount of buffing. This is where you trigger the 4th instance of damage. Now you have 4, you deal damage 4 times, boom, now you have the full buff of 24% basic attack damage bonus. If this is not for Luuk Herson, I don't know for who it is, because brother man, he's Spectral, Lene is Spectral. There might be another crazy theory that I'm not really sure, this is kind of 50-50 on my end, but it might be very, very powerful and very interesting. Not really too powerful, but again, it might be very interesting if they introduce this kind of mechanic. So we know from Zani that they are not afraid to make a unit do 2 types of damage types in a same ability. For example, Galbrina is similar to that, but not exactly, because she does heavy attack damage on some attacks, and other attacks are doing echo skill damage. There's not a single attack in her kit that does both damage types at the same time. So with Luuk Herson, if his liberation is considered both basic attack damage and liberation damage, then someone like Linnea, who amplifies 15% any damage and 25% liberation damage with her outro, can fully, completely buff this unit and make him extremely strong. I'm talking about big numbers. So this guy screams main DPS. And there's some nerds that will say, Kuro never released it, because this character looks like a DPS as well. Who says that Kuro cannot? Yeah, who's gonna stop them? Who's gonna stop them from releasing 2 DPSs? Yeah, you just choose whoever you want. You choose this DPS if you like her more, you choose this DPS. He's gonna have a playstyle that pleases one audience, and she will have different playstyle that pleases another audience. So honestly, I don't see the world where we can just not get 2 DPSs in the same patch. So it's pretty obvious this guy has to be the main DPS. This is the DPS set. This Gauntlet is a basic attack damage boost, and so him being Gauntlet and Spectral, bro, 2 plus 2 equals 4, last time that I checked. So honestly, this has to work. If it doesn't, Kuro Games are doing something completely wrong, because I don't know what the heck am I doing with this one, and this thing, if there's no one that I can use. If he's a Spectral character, boom, he can use this set. If he's a basic attack damage dealer, boom, he can use this because he's a Gauntlet user. So Luuk Herson has a lot of synergy already with existing aspects of the game. So Sonata set, there's already one where you can build right now, 100% works for him. This one will amazingly, if you have standard pools ready, boom, get it. And if you're gonna be Luuk Herson main, congratulations, you'll have a lot of budget to make that happen. The next thing that's very powerful about Luuk Herson, if he's a basic attack damage dealer, which 99.999% chance that he is, Sanhua will be his best in slot budget support. Again, like very budget option. Incoming character has their basic attack damage, right? Amplified by 38% for 14 seconds. Also, her S6 gives you 20% attack boost for 20 seconds to entire team after casting her optimal rotation. So honestly, 38% amp on Moonlight Clouds, you can fully buff this guy, brother. Like, Luuk Herson might be for those who are like broke, because Kuro Games is one of the most generous company. Honestly, this might sound like glazing, but I love Kuro Games so much because they're so generous. This character, we'll talk about this character in a second, might be more expensive side, but way more stronger, where this guy at the budget will be stronger than she is at the budget, right? She might be more like Cartetia type of unit. This guy might be more like Augusta type of unit, where he can still bozo the content at the budget, and at the more investment he can just completely ruin the game, right? He can just completely shatter, like make you crash on your computer. But yeah, I'm so excited to see what he's capable of. I hope he doesn't disappoint, because honestly everything points out for him to be perfect unit. For anyone who's free to play, he's gonna be a free to play god. He's going to be the leader of all free to play players. And honestly, I can't wait. Yeah, this guy honestly checks off the boxes because everything is connected. Like Sonata said, this has to be his Sonata set. This has to be amazing gauntlet for him. If he can inflict the shifting on Tune Break, boom, this is just a free buff for him. So honestly, I can't say this guy is a bad pool. He might be a very powerful pool for anyone. So if he's not connected with Spectral Frazzle or some like weird shenanigans, he might be one of the best units in entire game for almost every account. So he might be for a lower level, but before I start like shilling right there, like that, let's go to the next character. Let's see first what his kit is. So yeah, we'll wait for his kit release, and then we'll see for sure whether or not he'll be broken or he'll be situational. So for now, he seems promising, so yeah, good for Luuk. 10 out of 10 in my opinion for now. Let's go to Aemeath, and she honestly looks astonishing. She's fusion attribute, which we really needed another fusion character, because honestly, I can't remember last time I got a fusion character. Fusion character with a sword, very interesting. So let's see what Sonata sets she can actually be with. Not a single new Sonata set, because all the new Sonata set, let me see. Yeah, actually there's no new Sonata set that can actually, yeah, right here. This is the newest Sonata sets, only these. This is Spectro, and Healer. So she has no new Sonata sets. This is already a red flag, not because of her like cost efficiency, because it's because of building. Now, because we have no insight in a game, we cannot actually say whether or not she's Liberation DPS, because we have no Fusion Liberation DPS. There's Lupa, but she's like sub DPS level of damage, and she's a damage team buffer, so she's not really a DPS. Chang-Li does half of her damage comes from Resonance skill, and another half is that big Liberation nuke. So it's like even Chang-Li doesn't do only Liberation then. So when it comes to Fusion, we actually need an actual Liberation DPS for Fusion. So if she is, she'll be amazing on Flaming Cloth Print that gives Fusion damage bonus of 10%, Casting Liberation increases Fusion damage of Resonators in a team by 15%, and Caster Resonance Liberation damage by 20%, lasting for 35 seconds. Very cool, very interesting. Now, if she does coordinated attacks, right, this will be perfect set for her if you slot her in a fusion, mono fusion team. And actually, I would say the safest bet might be the mono fusion team, because here's the thing: if she's a basic attack damage dealer, Sanhua will be working very well. If she is a liberation damage dealer, this might be a very amazing set with another like fusion units, right? But if she's none of that, is there actually a way to pre-farm a set that you can actually slot on her and not suck? Let's go ahead. That's actually one set that's very old, and in my opinion aged the best when it comes to value, and that is nothing else, none other than Molten Wraith. This set gives you 10% fusion damage as the other one. Fusion damage is increased by 30% after releasing Resonance skill for 15 seconds. Her rotation will not last longer than 11 or 12 seconds. I doubt. No modern units are like taking longer than 10 seconds. Otherwise you're probably not doing the optimal rotation, but every new unit is just very fast. So honestly, this is more than enough. 40% damage bonus from this. I mean, can you expect too much? At least you can pre-farm a general fusion damage set. And if you have already built a Molten Rift set, honestly, you can just maybe fine-tune this set so it has like decent crit ratio. So when someone like Aemeath releases, boom, you can just slot in, and you can take her to the end game if you pre-farm her materials. I hope her materials are pre-farmable right now. So yeah, honestly, I really want to see like what the maths will be for pre-farm. But yeah, overall, for Fusion, yeah, Sonata said the best bet, in my opinion, the safest option is Molten Rift. Now, that's for the Sonata set. For the swords, I only suggest only one sword, and that's because of that thing, right? She can do coordinate attack damage. We don't have coordinate attack damage DPS, right? We don't have a standalone Liberation DPS Fusion character. We have Morny, who does Liberation damage, but she's more like hybrid. She's more like a Lupa, I think, level, where she doesn't really do that much damage on the team, but she still does decent damage to actually contribute to the team. So she's not really DPS Liberation character. Aemeath seems like a DPS character. She seems very like she's gonna do damage, right? So yeah, she looks like she's going to do way more damage than someone like Morny or Lupa. So the best sword I suggest is Emerald of Genesis, right? Emerald of Genesis. If she's a Resonance skill damage dealer, this weapon will give her boost. If she's a Liberation, same thing, you'll get the boost. Basic attack, heavy attack, coordinate attack, whatever damage type she has, this will help you. So this will help you, and this Sonata set is the only thing you can actually prepare when it comes to Sonata set and weapon. So get your Emerald of Genesis ready, and honestly, you'll be very good. So if you someone who's like a veteran player or long-term player, and you have Blazing Brilliance, and she turns out to be a Resonance skill damage dealer, I guess she will work amazingly with this weapon. And honestly, any other weapon, Red Spring might work like slightly, you know, because honestly, Red Spring is, yeah, I don't know. like this is like 30% damage bonus. If you don't have this weapon, do not pull for it. Like that's basically it. And is there anything else? There's like heavy attack. Yeah, wait, casting echo skill within 10 seconds after intro or basic attack. It grants 1 stack of bamboo, which gives you 30% heavy attack. Okay, that's good. Honestly, that's very good. So yeah, echo skill at the max stacks does not reset this. Okay, casting intro skill grants echo skill. Okay, honestly, here's the thing. This sentence, if you don't already have this weapon, don't pull for it. But again, general heavy attack damage bonus for your sword heavy attack users. So also an option if you have it, but don't, for the sake of not breaking your account, do not go for this weapon. This is energy regen. If Aemeath has nothing to do with energy regen, and honestly there's nothing pointing towards her actually having anything to do with the energy regen, you will break your account because no character in the game can use this weapon. If Rover uses energy regen, Arrow Rover for example doesn't need more than 130% energy regen. He has, I think, 38 as well. You have energy regen right here as a stat stick. This is free option. This is a waste of your standard because you can get way better options like Emerald of Genesis, like other broken new standard weapons that we got. So that new sword is actually a downgrade. It's actually downgraded from the Emerald of Genesis. So don't pull that weapon. Emerald of Genesis is the safest bet. So when it comes to weapons, she has a budget options. For Sonata set, you cannot go wrong with this set. It's a general fusion damage bonus. It's not like as strong as the modern ones, but she'll probably have the new set on release, which means it can take quite a lot of time for you to actually build that set and have it ready for her. So that's one of the things. If you have this set ready, it'll be perfect for you. You will struggle less, and you might actually be able to clear content day one. If you pre-farm her materials, if it's possible to pre-farm the materials. And let's go to the 4 stars that she might use. If she's a resin skill damage dealer, Taochi will be not really the best option, but honestly, Taochi amplifies 38% resin skill damage on her outro. Sanhua, as we said before, amplifies basic attack damage. Mortefi amplifies heavy attack damage. Yeah, that's basically it. Yang is like cool. If Aemeath, because she's a newest character, if she's a very good DPS, you might as well just use Yang, because I think this character looks like her kit will be based around entering ultimate ASAP, right? As soon as possible. So Yang giving that extra 20 energy might be okay, so you can save your good 4-star sub DPSs for other teams. Then if she's like a resin skill damage dealer, you can double down on resin skill buffing and get someone like bullying, right? If we go to the Forte list, we can go over here and go for Forte, right? It says that after second intro, after casting her ult, the Resonator on the field will get 25% resin skill damage bonus. That's amazing, right? Then her sequence says if she's S6, this 25% damage bonus becomes 50% resin skill damage bonus to that active Resonator on the team. So honestly, if she's a resin skill damage dealer, you have even more free-to-play options. Bullying will be the best. Yang, Bullying, and Aemeath might be amazing team. So Sword is a very budget option. So that's said. Molten Rift, if you have it ready, you don't have to worry about her set. You can actually just comfortably slowly grind for her set until it's perfect, and then you can just replace this set. So honestly, I think this set will be amazing on her for like decent period of time, and by the time she like starts lacking damage with this set, you already might have her set ready to go. So don't stress about it. This will 100% work on her, no worries. Bullying, if she's a resin skill, use Bullying. If not, forget about Bullying. So that's basically it. So yeah, you have like Mortefi, Sanhua, and Taochi being like those damage type amplifiers. Any other 4-star is just near useless. So honestly, they'll be for 4 stars, right? Now let's see other fusion characters that might pair with Aemeath. And basically the characters that I think will pair the best with Aemeath will be as follows. So first we have Brand. He's a hybrid. He buffs resin skill and fusion with amplification with his outro. Changli amplifies liberation and fusion damage with her outro. Then Chisha is 4-star DPS, Anchor DPS standard, but doesn't matter. They probably won't have any synergy. Galberen is the main DPS, and Lupa, he amplifies basic attack damage and fusion damage by her outro skill. So that's very cool. Lupa is very powerful character for fusions because she increases team's fusion resistance. She gives 15% resistance shred to boss for fusion damage, so you can do way more fusion damage. That's a very powerful buff. Attack percentage increase up to 18% attack increase, 20 to I think 30% extra fusion damage bonus from her kit, and her Sonata set, which I said before, is giving extra 15% damage bonus for fusion, so for the entire team. So honestly, Lupa is crazy character. You cannot go wrong with Lupa on your Aemeath team. And so yeah, if she does heavy attack damage, then Mortefi, Lupa, and Aemeath might be very good. However, someone like Morny, if you have Lupa right now, this might be a very wild combo and might actually work perfectly with each other. This might be the best mono fusion team. Yeah, so listen to this. Morny is a fusion character. She does liberation damage, she does blah blah blah. She's a general buffer for your team, and then someone like Lupa is a general fusion buffer for you. But in order for her to fully buff your team, you need to be in mono fusion team. So because Aemeath is a fusion character and Lupa is a fusion character and Morny is a fusion character, you can do mono fusion team. And in my opinion, Morny and Lupa will be the new best core duo for any fusion mono fusion team, right? Because Lupa, the only downside is that she has no sustain. So if you pair her with someone like Mortefi and Galbrena, you need to dodge, otherwise you're cooked. But if you have sustain like Brand, which is the only sustain in a fusion right now until Morny comes out, Brand is the best core member with Lupa. So basically what Morny will do, because she's a general damage booster on the team and she does some damage on her own, she'll basically replace Brand as the best partner for Lupa. Brand will still be strong, he'll do more damage, but you don't need Brand to play mono fusion team with Lupa and still have sustain, because Morny will generally just buff any unit with a lot of damage, and Aemeath, no matter what damage type she has, if Morny is on your account alongside Lupa, you now have a powerful mono fusion team. I don't see the universe where this Aemeath and Morny and Lupa will not work. So that's basically how I see this. With Sword, you have amazing free-to-play option. With Fusion, you can have some powerful spicy teams that you can make with Lupa, Morny, Aemeath, or Lupa, Brand, Aemeath. If you already have Brand and Lupa but don't have Changli, or you may like, maybe I should pull Changli, maybe save for Galbrena, save for Aemeath, because you most likely will have very powerful fusion team. I hope that she's not poorly designed how Zani and Kartetia were. And the reason why I'm mentioning Karte and Zani specifically, because those are negative status characters. And the way the negative status works on those units is the most predatory way possible. If you don't have their best in slot, they basically become worse than even some currently standard units, and that's kind of diabolical. So their value is very dependent on their sub DPS. While this unit, if she doesn't need Lene to work, she'll be very powerful unit. She might be, I would say, DPS unit in the game is not really a must pull, because you can just replace DPS with another DPS. DPS is a must pull when it's like Frolova, right? When it's she can be a sub DPS hybrid, and she can just carry any of your DPSs while you're still doing DPS. You basically, with Frolova, what you're doing is that you're playing double DPS team, but instead of quick swapping, you just introing from Frolova to another character, and while that character is doing DPS, Frolova doing her own DPS, and it's like, it's so freaking busted. So that's why Frolova is the must pull DPS in the game, because she just works the way that no other character in the game works. She completely busted. So this character, I hope she's busted. I want this character to be Frolova level, because honestly, she just screams like OP. Like, that's why, honestly, that's my honest opinion. And so, yeah, Aemeath, she looks great. I hope her kit feels great to play and it's not restrictive, because if we don't have Fusion Burst And Rover, if I remember correctly, in phase 2 we will get the last copy of Aero Rover, so we'll finally have S6 Aero Rover, and so with that, in 3.1 we can already expect Fusion Rover, or maybe Electro Rover, who knows, the next attribute of Rover. And if next Rover is Fusion Burst, most likely this character needs to be Fusion Burst, so you can actually, you know, streamline the Fusion Burst, the new negative status, and again, to revive Chisa, because Chisa is currently dead in Ditch. So this character can be multiple things. She can be new standalone Fusion DPS, or she can be something that Fusion attribute didn't have at all, and that is negative status, Fusion Burst. And honestly, Fusion Burst, if it's done right, this character might signal the future of actually peak kit designs. I hope she's good designed, because she's such a hype unit. Chisa was also a hyped unit. Chisa could be so great if they didn't do her like that. Her weapon is big part of her kit, and that is why Chisa feels underwhelmingly weak without her signature. So I hope they don't do the same like injustice with Aemeath, because this character deserves the best. We can all agree with this. So honestly, that would be for me in this video. I think we breaking down all the fusion teammates that she can have, all the Spectre units she can have. Oh, he can have also. I forgot to mention, you have some units here, but besides Lene, Shorekeeper Verina, everybody knows. No other units I think can honestly synergize with Luuk, so I didn't really go in depth into these. Lene will obviously be the best in slot if nothing else works. Shorekeeper and Verina are always the best in slots for everyone. So Luuk, he seems like a very budget-friendly unit. This character we need to see because we have Spectre Frazzle. So honestly, I am not really worried about Luuk because Spectre Frazzle is already there. It's still powerful, so there's no need for another Spectre Frazzle character. There's no need. And so he will sell more if he's just standalone DPS Spectre. But she might be negative status, and that might change her value depending on how that negative status affects her kit. So yeah, with that being said, both of these units look amazing. I actually can make it. I actually want to throw some pulls into try getting her. She looks amazing. This guy, in my opinion, I think for now, as of right now, from what I can see from here, he seems the most valuable, the more valuable one out of two. She seems kind of like that unit that might require like that extra one investment than this other unit. So yeah, for those who can actually spend more pools, she probably will be the better choice. From those who are free to play and can't really spend that much pools, for them to pool, this guy might be the best choice. So honestly, that's basically the budget and the elite. That's basically my honest impression. So let me know, guys, in the comment section below, what do you think about Herson and Aemeath? What are your expectations? Who will break the meta first? And yeah, who will you pull in 3.1? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.